Chapter 50. The Final Confrontation. Temporary Calm and 3 Years of Shadow. The morning came. The Han Holdings Group building looked larger than usual, or perhaps Jiho was looking at it with different eyes. Nora was beside him. Adam and Layan were at home with Hana and Kim Dongwook's sister. So-yeon had returned from her travels and agreed to watch them. They entered the building. The lift was slow. It rose to the 25th floor. The corridor was long, lit with cold white lights. At the door of the room, Jiho stopped. He looked at Nora. She said, "Ready?" "I am not ready, but I will do it." He opened the door. Inside the room, his father was sitting on a large chair. Around him were Lawyer Park, 3 other lawyers, and a notary. But the new presence was Ah-yeong. She was sitting at the other end, representing her family. "Ah-yeong, why are you here?" Jiho asked. "Because my family is part of these negotiations. If you refuse the marriage, they will withdraw from the deal with your father, and that will affect their interests. So you are here only to watch. I am here to ensure that everything is legal, because my father wants his interest, but I also want my own interest." Jiho sat. Nora sat beside him. Lawyer Park began speaking, in his irritatingly smooth voice. "Han Jiho, your father wants to offer you a deal. He will withdraw the case in exchange for your return to the family, and your marriage to Miss Chin." "No, you have not finished my words." "No need, the answer is no." The father looked at his son. His eyes were burning. "Jiho, you are destroying your future. You are the one trying to destroy it. I am trying to protect you." "From what? From freedom? From choosing my own life?" The father stood. He struck the table with his fist. "You are ungrateful. Everything I did for you. Everything you did was for yourself, to satisfy your ego, because you cannot bear the idea that your son does not want to be a copy of you." A long silence. Then Ah-yeong suddenly said, "I suggest postponing the negotiations. 3 months. During which the Han family temporarily withdraws the case, and Jiho thinks about the marriage offer, and if he refuses after 3 months, the case returns to its former state." The father looked at her. "That is not part of the agreement. I am making it part, because I do not want to marry a man busy with a case, and if Jiho is going to refuse, let the refusal come from conviction, not from pressure." The father thought for a long time. Then he said, "All right, 3 months. But if he refuses, there will be no negotiations afterwards. I will destroy him completely." Jiho stood. He looked at his father. 3 months, but do not expect me to change my mind." "We shall see." Jiho left, Nora behind him. In the corridor, she held his hand. "Are you all right?" "I am not all right, but I am still standing." "That is enough." After 3 years. The 3 years passed quietly in a way no one had expected. The case did not end, but it stopped. It entered a state of stalemate. The court postponed considering it due to insufficient evidence from the prosecution. In truth, lawyer Kim Jin-ah had presented strong counter-evidence that made the judge request a review of the documents. Jiho's father did not withdraw, but he did not attack either. There was a fragile truce, built on mistrust, but it was a calm. Jiho dedicated his time to the café. It grew slowly. It became known in the neighborhood for its good coffee and its quiet atmosphere. Dongwook came daily. Sometimes he brought his sister Ah-yeong, who had become a close friend of Nora. Ah-yeong remained in contact, not as a fiancé, but as a professional friend. She helped Jiho with some minor legal matters, and she came to the café sometimes to drink coffee and read files. Nora continued working, at the bakery, then at the café, and she studied law in her free time. She did not obtain a formal degree, but she became an expert in refugee cases and women's rights. She helped So-yeon obtain a better job and helped other women in the building. Adam became a teenager. He turned 13. He still loved mathematics and numbers, but he also began to be interested in art. He drew. His drawings were somewhat dark, but they were beautiful. He did not stop counting cars, but he no longer did it out of fear, only out of habit. Layan grew up. She turned 8. She was intelligent, sometimes rude, but she possessed a big heart. She loved Jiho especially, and she annoyed him with her endless questions. Jiho no longer lived in the apartment. He returned to his apartment on the 7th floor, but he came down every day, sometimes for work, sometimes to see Layan, and sometimes to sit with Nora in silence. Adam still suffered from nightmares sometimes, but they became fewer. He learned how to calm himself. He would count to 100, then sleep again. Layan still smiled. She was the light in all their lives. Nora did not shed a single tear throughout the 3 years, but she dreamed sometimes. Strange dreams about her old home, about her parents, about the explosion. She would wake in the middle of the night and sit in the darkness until dawn, but she was no longer afraid. She knew that tomorrow would come, and that she would be there, with Adam and Layan, and with Jiho if he chose to stay. And the shadows that once burned became roots, extending into the earth, holding her firmly, not because she forgot the pain, but because she learned to carry the pain and continue living at the same time. End of Season 1.